Another day. Yeah. Okay. That's up. Here we go. Hello. um, it's another day. Another week has gone by. So let's check what last week had in store for us. Whew. I may look a little out of it. My hair is kind of rough, but that's because it is 40 degrees out and it was raining. So you're going to see very quickly um, how things change here, because we are in light fall here. Like I feel like most people consider October still fall, but I know in this area we don't. We get like 2 weeks of fall, and now it's getting into winter. Uh, like I said, it was 40 degrees. It's threatening to snow today. And with all the leaves on the trees, it's going to be a mess. Um, I hope it doesn't, but if it does, today's video will be very important because I will absolutely do an update if it does snow, because that's kind of wild to see. So that's the plan. Yeah, so I I also did a lot in this past week, so it feels good to get past that. Still tempted to do something with that space, maybe even it out. But one of the key things that made me go out in the rain and really want to get today's video is to talk about LARPing, because when you're LARPing, there is a high probability it's just going to rain. I don't know why. It's just unwritten rules of how this stuff works. So when out and LARPing, it's super important to have additional like sleepwear or just like additional clothes to change into that are warm and comfy, because if you do not, you will have a bad time. Layering is super important. Having waterproof stuff is super important. So I was wearing a jacket, and the jacket worked out okay in the out here, but my pants were not. They were not the kind that I would normally wear, and that sucked. And I could feel like going through this kind of grass here, like that the bottoms of my pants would start to get wet. So it just travels all the way up, like till it's basically at your hips. Like it gets there. So the trip. Um, yeah. So I didn't really go over in the last video here where all this went, because it had fallen, and I kind of just like put it through this side here, but then I never traversed this side to show it. So I cleaned that all up today, or not today, but like within the past week. So that's all gone. I kind of like glimpse over, but it doesn't really show. Anyway, so in it's super important, and to be fair, I was also realizing I should be wearing my they're not pauldrons. Pauldrons are these things. Just like shin guards, I guess. Like some form of protection there, because that's where I get hurt the most of everywhere. I get little dings on my hands and whatnot because of the locust trees, as seen here. But most of the damage that happens is on my shins. So I really need to get those in practice, coming with me when I do the work. Um, even if it's not the ones I wear for LARP, because those are leather, they're nice, but um, it's still something that I need to do more to protect my legs because they're important. Um, had to crush this tree real quick. Bam. Part of doing this work is fun. Like it's just fun and exciting to like maneuver on all these different trees and branches and things and like make a path. There's such good fulfillment in it. I really just enjoy going through it, but it harkens me back to LARP stuff so often because I do a lot of camping that way. And so even though I'm not fighting when I'm out here, I'm still getting hurt. So it's important that I probably need to take better care to not. So I'm gonna try that a little bit more. I'm going to continue to like test and make sure I have appropriate gear when I'm out. Um, Making these pathways is such an interesting trial because everything is at an angle. Like all of the trees and everything are just kind of like trying to find their own little patch of sun. And I hope the work I'm doing helps prevent that. I'd like to get more of the stuff that's just sideways and take care of it. Like that really needs to go. That should go. In here, this one should probably go, but I don't want to like open this up too much. But all the same. So I like this path. I hope it's not too traversable by like the random neighbor. So we'll see. I'm really happy with it. Um, yeah. I feel like my camera got shifted a little bit when I fell. So now everything's a little off axis, but it happens. Wanted to get that out of the way. Flunk. Yeah. So it has absolutely snowed by this point in time. I was looking through my old Facebook stuff and I was absolutely camping at an event one time when it did snow like this. Well, not like this because there's no snow here, but like it did snow by this date. So it's important to start getting ready for it, and that just means making sure you have boots and stuff, a snow brush in the car. You know that's your thing. But to be fair, we also carried a small shovel because it's super easy to get stuck in a drift, not be able to really do much. It just works really well for cleaning up. Yeah, I've been super lucky to not have many tick interactions because now's the time when they have Lyme, so that sucks. But all the same, it's better to be careful, make sure you don't. But it's not gonna stop me from going out anymore. Like I just can't be bothered to stay inside. But doing my best out here. This tree is so good right now, all yellow. Yeah. Um, I really do want to do more with like taking some LARP shots, full costume, maybe even masked up, and just like try to figure out um, how best to manage that. There's plenty of there's plenty of reasons why the ancient folk did what they did. What they made was the best they had for their time. And I really love and appreciate that concept. And I really want to do more with that and like understand, because a lot of history, like history doesn't go into it because it doesn't get written down, it doesn't get saved. Like no one's going over what uh, someone in what would be forestry, I guess technically, I think it'd be like the trappers and the woodsmen's, like what they looked like, what they wore, what they were doing. Like it was very much something taught from generation to generation, and can't help but really aggressively like be curious about. I know they had furs because that's generally the trade when you're a trapper or like going through this kind of thing. But I wonder if they used specific furs for different areas because of their properties, like being able to like shrug off thorns. I know bunnies can do that quite well. I'm not quite sure why or how, but if it's in their fur, that might be interesting to experiment with. And like, it's just stuff like that where I'm trying to think like if they would have protected their shins, like how would they have done it? Like wearing the spalders or whatever. I really need to like just look up that word and get it into better my van braces, maybe? I don't know. I'm gonna look it up during the break because it's gonna bother me. So, uh, but just like how to better engage with a space like this and what has come since. Like, they might have worn leather because they couldn't afford metal, or it just wasn't easily accessed. It was more saved for the, you know, knights and armors and folk doing battle, but a good pair of protection would be something I think would be very important. It's going to be important for me. Um, but what else? Like a hatchet for sure on the belt makes a lot of sense. Um, trying to think like what else. They'd likely be carrying an axe. If for nothing else, as a walking stick to help carry loads back. Can absolutely lash the the axe end, put all of your sticks onto it, and then like lash to it. So you're holding a bundle instead of trying to just carry them by themselves. So this was kind of a good signifier, like gone through. Everything is still very much in fall here. Got some green. I kind of wanted to wait. Like legitimately, I was thinking like maybe I should wait, see if it does snow. But regardless, if it does, I am going to make a special extra video or just like make that the video for next week. But yeah, so I'm pretty hyped. I'm not looking forward to winter at all. I am not a winter person whatsoever. But I'm still just really focused on this kind of thing, and I'm gonna keep going because I don't want to be stopped at this point. Like I don't feel like stopping is going to be beneficial for me and my body, so I'm gonna try to keep going. So I wanted to like make sure we got little bits of the creek here, getting through here. other little highlights. But this is pretty much the end. We're going to go to break. I'm going to look that up real quick. So there are greaves. Okay. Huh. Greave for shin armor. Or gem bow? Huh. Interesting. I'm gonna come back to that. All right. And we're back. So, making sure get everything. It's all good. You can see that we're still in some green here. I'm just kind of paranoid at this point because when it's raining and you can, when you know that branches in different trees can fall, it's really important to be a little bit more wary, a little bit more actively looking around. Make sure that you're not going to get crushed because that would suck a lot. Bones still need to get put away, which I should probably do when it dries out. Likely just gonna put them in a basket and put them with the others I have. I think they're rotted through pretty good at this point. Still a lot of green here. We are at them today, so. But you can definitely see a lot of the trees are trying to completely rid themselves. Creek is going. It's doing good. But it is currently raining. And I've thought frequently about like jogging through this to get more motion. I will likely fall more, but that doesn't necessarily change things. But in a situation like this, I think it might be good where I just want to kind of like make sure I get the thing. That sucks that we're going to have a dot. But hopefully it won't obscure too much. Maybe it'll fall or get wiped away accidentally, hopefully. Yeah, not much I can do. The little waterfall's running. I was kind of hoping you could hear the rain because it gets oppressive when you're out there. Just the wind and the rain and the leaves just going wild, but doesn't seem like you can. These are running at this point. So, like I was saying, a lot of the work I did is in this area because there were just a ton of branches and things that were hanging out over here, all through here. So this was just laden with stuff that needed to get burned. I had put a lot of it in here. I put this railroad tie here so I could walk it out easier, and that worked out really well, and I'm really happy that didn't get washed away. So that's good. Creek's doing great. It's got some dams with the leaves and whatnot, but that's bound to happen. So going through because I remembered because I wanted to go through this a little bit more, show off the creek and whatnot. I threw out down another railroad tie here as well because I've often found myself just kind of like balancing more than I should when I can just have two to walk on. To be fair, I should probably grab another and put one for that sideways bridge. Also cleaned a lot of this up. This space had just a lot of debris in here that I took out. Stuff through here got cleaned up. These got moved because I think this fell at some point, and hopefully making things better there. A lot of it ended up right here. That needs to go out, but now that the creek's running, it's a little bit harder to get out that way. Still working on over there. Didn't really do much in these points. It's mostly just making sure that I was able to get out and getting over to the things I need. Quick check-in on the bridges. They seem okay. Nope, didn't move at all. So this one's kind of covered over, and I'll stop and look at it for a sec. It seems like the water is going to flow over it rather than push through it, which is nice. So that's good. Yeah. We shall see. That all has to go out still. And I just frequently leave myself these kinds of things to grab and move because it's good, because it gives me, if nothing else, I can move sticks. If I don't find a spot that really needs the work, it's good. It's nice to really have the space and the something to fall back on, because I know there's a lot of executive dysfunction and depression and whatnot, and it can feel pointless, and jobs can be way too big, or you don't know where to start. So having a spot to go and just like really have basic tasks to do make it so much easier. Like, it's so funny. Like, I really wish there was a better analog for it. Maybe there is, just not one I've played. But when clearing a dense forested space, it is not easy to maneuver through. Like, you can see that these paths are, some used to be creeks, so there's that. But others, they just need to be carved through, otherwise you're not going to get through. Hi there, how's it going? So moving into spaces like this, it can be really interesting to work through, and I, again, wish there was some sort of game or something where the wood was harder to move. The paths didn't quite make sense for without being adjusted, because it is not so simple. So being able to just like have that like little goal of move the sticks is something nice. I really wish it wasn't raining today, so and that this droplet would go away. But what can you do? So yeah, it's been good. This was a bit of a surprise having this really large branch, and just storms will do that, and it's even more important why taking these walks and clearing these paths gets done. Because when winter gets here fairly soon, it's going to be a mess, and I'm kind of excited to show just how much damage winter does in these kinds of spaces. So that'll be exciting. But that's for next week. So again, quick reminder to check out my series I'm doing. It's posted here and on YouTube. And from there, YouTube as my playlist to if you wanted to go back and see the full progression of what's been going on. There's a lot of transforming in this, and I really enjoy the progression. It's kind of a shame that Twitch doesn't save VODs, um, because yeah, it is a lot of work, and cleaning these paths has kept me fit and active, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been really important to me in just staying fit and active, but um, I also have this tendency, like when I'm on one of these walks and I don't have a tool with me, to grab more sticks because it's kind of like a relay the way I've got it set up. So if I can just move things down to the next relay point, it's going to make it easier for me to get it out, especially if I can get it over to this clearing. So this space is kind of better able to uh, accept these kinds of things because I can run a tractor down this path and with a wagon to pick everything up, because that's just the easiest way to move so much of it. It's a little bit cheating because, I try to avoid power tools as much as possible, but it it is nice to just get it all out of there, especially when they're the hawthorn trees, because they have really large briars and pokey bits, and I bought specific gloves to deal with them, but all the same, I'd rather just move a lot of that all at once. Same with rose bushes. They're awful to maneuver, and it's really better to do a fire when you can get good weight on them, so they're more condensed. Otherwise, they're kind of a pain to burn and get rid of. So yeah, sticks end up getting burned. The bigger pieces, I try to make more bridges and things. I have a vast number of very long sticks that I've saved for building something. Like in previous videos, you can see a structure that I built, and it was it was interesting. It was very tall, so you could stand in it, which is kind of important. But going back and doing it again, I might try to do something more A-frame. Really, actually, like build something that might last through the seasons and be drier. Dry is the hard part, ultimately. Like, there's no good way to do a roof in this area with the foliage that I have. Like, you really just can't do it easily. You have to use hay. Hay isn't great for protecting from the rain, but it does do some of the work. And there's just fields and fields of that kind of thing. Like all of this roughage, like when it's dead, it works that way. But yeah, so here's an example of a bridge I made with railroad ties mostly and some of the larger sticks. Just getting stuff to more relay points. Yeah. So, yeah, that's my other little bridge, but I'm really looking forward to getting into late fall, in air quotes, because this is basically where I figure fall ends, is about today. So, yeah, it's gonna be a mess. Winter always is. But I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Feel free to follow if you're on Twitch or like and subscribe on YouTube. It's there's a lot. It's gonna keep going as long as I can, because this is such a huge project. I've already been doing this for 4 years, so it's super important to recognize for myself just how far I've come, just how much work this all takes. And it feels really good when I find forest animals and other things using the spaces and making better use, being able to see them more. It's really awesome. So, yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. I am going to do a quick raid. So let's see who's on. Let's see. Okay. So we're going to... Thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, whole thing. Have a wonderful day.
Let's see. Hey, it's got hair cutter too.